Greetings and welcome to another edition of Learn with FERM. Today we're taking the Gemini melody generation testing to the next level, seeing whether it can effectively determine a catchy vocal melody from the audio file and the context we give it, and for bonus points, see if it can then write lyrics for that melody that actually flows properly, matching the syllables, the cadence, and all that. Very skeptical about that part, and I haven't tried it yet, so we're gonna find out. We might be pleasantly surprised. We'll see. Subscribe, hit the like button, hit the hype button, that's a thing, and leave a comment with your thoughts on the matter. So if you haven't seen my previous couple of videos, we've been experimenting with large language models, in particular Gemini, since it appears to be the best at this by far, and its ability to hear an audio file, and we send it as much other context as we can to find out whether it can help. Again, I want to make this very clear. The idea in practice is not to have AI do everything. I'm not one of those people that wants AI to do everything for me, or I would just be using Suno at this point. I think the best promise for this application of a large language model for songwriting, production, mixing is to help inspire decisions when facing roadblocks, especially if you're not as experienced. I try to stay away from any raw audio generation. I'm mostly interested in being assisted based on what I'm already working with. So in the early videos, we proved that it can give solid mixing advice, and then the last one we did a proof of concept demonstration where Gemini wrote a couple bass lines, simple but effective, and a fun little synth lead. My app sees the melody that Gemini dictates, packages it in a downloadable MIDI file, and then we can drag it right into Pro Tools. If you've seen the last video, you know what I'm talking about. I explained more about how the app works in the earlier ones if you want to go check those out. I'll give a brief overview when we get there, but I do have a little update to it to make everything a little more streamlined, and you'll see what I mean. But first, let me introduce the Pro Tools session we're going to be working with today. Alright, so we're in the session. This is actually the same one that I used in my second video where I compared ChatGPT to Gemini to see which was better at mixing advice, and Gemini won. Spoiler alert. In that one, I had arranged this kind of indie synth pop, funky, I don't even know what you call it exactly, but it's a fun time. And when I set it up then specifically, I gave it this mixing problem to solve, which was leaving a lot of low-end mud in there, not doing a low cut on, synth sounds and an acoustic guitar that I recorded. So in this case, I've cleaned all that up. I've added some things, and let me play it for you in its entirety. Then I'll go through and show you what we're working with here individually. So right now, the vocals that I used are still in there. You're going to hear them. We're going to have Gemini suggest a hopefully better vocal melody, and then I will record that with the lyrics it gives me, and we'll see which one's better. Now, before I play it, the way I wrote and recorded this vocal line that I did here, it's kind of like a verse type of vibe. I wouldn't really call it much of a hook, but the musical context can definitely be conducive to a hook. I just didn't have time to rewrite and redo a whole nother session, or even in this case, just the vocal line. So it's the same vocals as last time, a little bit different arrangement and instrumentation. I've muted the acoustic guitar as well, and instead added a keyboard. The acoustic guitar didn't really belong. It was just kind of there for the test, for the low-end mud. Anyway, let's play it. Here we go. So we're learning lessons here, Learn with FERM. When I kind of wrote/improvised those lyrics, I genuinely did not consciously think of the learn concept. It was just part of the rhyme scheme, and yeah, it works out. Anyway, so that's the vibe we've got. Definitely some more things I can add and tweak in here, but Gemini doesn't need it to sound perfect to infer musical context for songwriting, and it might just give me, I could also ask it for mixing advice, but that's not what we're here for this time. My vocal chain, I'm not going to go through it here. If you're interested, check out the ChatGPT versus Gemini video. I went through all of that, and we're going to mute those because we're focusing on the instrumental, because that's what we're going to send to Gemini, obviously. I don't want to give it any hints as to where the vocals already went in this iteration. So we've got the acoustic guitar that I muted. At this point, I might as well just hide it so it's not distracting. So we got 3 samples from Splice. I know some people apparently are still against sampling based on some of the comments in the last video, but I do pay for the subscription service, and if I were to actually finish the song and distribute it, I would license the samples and give the credits, of course. We got this pumping, pulsing kind of synth chord pad here. And then this little lead that's kind of like a guitar almost. It's not a guitar, but it has that. And then another synth lead. Those are the 3 samples together. And then the MIDI stuff is, let's move this to the top. This is the vocal synth. I just put a temporary placeholder thing there. That's where we're going to drag the Gemini MIDI in, and I just put in a vocal choir, a male choir sound from Expand to vocalize the melody that it's going to give us. So we got the keys, the bass, and the drum beat, all MIDI that was not generated by Gemini. I laid them out, except for the drum beat. I tweaked a little, but they are from a MIDI pack from Addictive Drums. So now I'll bring them all together so you get an idea here. Drum beat, first half is like a hi-hat, and then it's got the fill, and then it goes to the ride to build up. I'm not sure if this whole section would be the hook in and of itself, or if it would be the hook would be the second half, and I don't know. You know, this is just kind of a template. So here we go. Drum beat, bass, modeled after a bass guitar, and then the keys. And I did a little parallel compression on the drums. Now let's hear this instrumental all together one more time, as we will send it to Gemini. Alright, so we're going to bounce this, vocals muted. Also, I did add Ozone 11 for the maximizer just to bring it up to full volume so that Gemini can, you know, get it in the way it expects songs to sound, I guess. I don't even know if that's good logic, but I figure if it hears it at the quieter, non-mastered level, it might not make as good of decisions. I could be wrong, but also mainly for the sake of recording this video. It's a lot easier to deal with the levels if it's brought to standard loudness. Anyway, I'm gonna bounce it. We're gonna go into the app. All right, so this is my vibe-coded app. Once again, engineer mode, which was the default original thing we were testing. The source code is available if you want to mess with it. Try to install it. It's fairly simple. Even if you're not a developer, not code savvy, these days, AI can help you with all of that if you're willing to spend the time. GitHub link is in the description. I'm sure some of you guys may have already tried it out and hopefully you got some good results. And this update, as I'm about to show you what I added, will be live by the time this video comes out. So we go click over to producer mode, got the file in, Gemini test hook. I will play it real quick within the interface just to confirm it's what we just heard. Alright, so there's that. Make sure it's all, the full thing is selected. Gemini 3 Pro. We're going to start with creative this time. Again, this is the temperature, how unruly you want it to be. In the last one, we realized that the baseline was a lot better. When I used creative, balanced, it was more, you know, basic. So it seems like creative is what you want to do for melody generation. I do want to try unusual. I haven't tried that level yet. We'll do that later on. Thinking level medium. I haven't tried it on high yet, but I'm not sure the thinking would be much of a help in musical context. Usually that's more like technical code math stuff, but maybe we can try it. For now, let's just do what we know works good. So here's the new feature that I've added since the last time. So before I had indicated that I had to type the chord progression in because if you just upload the audio file, it can infer the key signature, but it didn't get the chord progression right when I tried it the first time. It got the first two chords right, but then it didn't get the order of the second two or something like that. So it's better to just make sure it has it. So what I've done is I've added another Python tool. I made it so that you have to detect the chords first, and there's a good reason for that, and I'll show you once it detects the chords. All right, so it's got the spectrogram, which gives it more context, and here are the detected chords at the bottom. The reason I make sure the chords are detected first is because sometimes it can estimate the BPM as either half or double the actual BPM, which screws up the amount of beats per chord. It's like a first pass to check. Basically, is the BPM right? If the BPM's right, it'll be right, but if it's not, then you can halve it or double it and then adjust the number of beats per chord. And if it gets the chord wrong, but it usually doesn't. So E minor, 4 beats, D6, 4 beats, C major 7, 4 beats, A minor 7, 4 beats, and then it repeats. Now for the prompt. All I said is listen to this clip and give me a catchy vocal hook melody for a male tenor. Obviously you want to give it the range because, I mean, I could just transpose it, but it knows what the male tenor range is, so we might as well. But I'm not going to give it any other context. We want to see how well it infers the groove and the feel and the vibe, and we'll just see whatever it spits out will determine whether we want to try it again. If it sounds good as it is the first time, then we'll go ahead and ask it for lyrics to match and see what happens. So now we simply press start analysis and it's going to send the spectrogram image, the prompt, the audio file, and now the chord progression so it can make as best informed decisions possible. It's going to dictate a MIDI melody and the app is going to package it for us in a download button, as you'll see momentarily. It takes about 90 seconds with the medium thinking on. All right, the results are in. Let's go through and read pretty much all of it. If you're just interested in the results, at this point, you probably have already done that, but the chapters are all in the timestamps and the timeline. Here's what it said. Based on the audio and spectrogram analysis, you have a solid new disco/funk foundation. Got the genre right, pretty much. I guess I said funk. Disco is new disco, that makes sense. The track features a tight rhythm section, kick, snare, hi-hats, and a funky rhythm guitar, sitting comfortably at 120 BPM. So there isn't a rhythm guitar technically, but as I said earlier, that synth lead kind of sounds like a fast-picking guitar. So I'm sure that's what it's thinking that was. Again, this here. Within the context, I can see how it would mistake that for a guitar. The frequency spectrum shows a strong low end and a clear mid-range presence from the guitar. Not a guitar, but there is a significant pocket in the upper mids, perfect for a vocal, and space in the high mids for sustained textures. Here is a proposal for a tenor vocal hook and arrangement expansion. The vocal hook, male tenor, vibe, soulful, rhythmic, and slightly syncopated. Think Jamiroquai or early Maroon 5. Jamiroquai, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Range, E3 to E4. Chest voice with a touch of head voice. I'm all about it. Suggested melody structure. The melody relies on a call and response structure with the bass line. Ooh, the bass line's pretty funky and very in motion, so we'll see. I don't know how well it picked out the bass line, but it is pretty fat, and I did make it kind of loud, so it is pretty obvious from the spectrogram even. Bar 1, E minor starts on the and of beat 1, a climbing motif, beat 3, D4, E. Okay, so it's laying out the notes and just describing qualitatively. Mirrors the first bar, but shifted down to match the chord. So this is why I read this, because it's good to demonstrate that Gemini isn't just guessing, and it's guessing at a lot of things. Technically, it's fully guessing, but it's educated guesses based on statistics. But it's using appropriate language that makes sense as a songwriter and a musician. Bar 3, a rhythmic staccato phrase. Bar 4, a rapid descending run to resolve the loop. Oh god, this might be a little too busy. We'll find out. Again, this might not work. This might be a failed experiment. If this one is, we'll try the balance temperature, and we could also include in the prompt, don't make it too busy. Let's continue. We'll see how it goes. Arrangement expansion. To take this loop from a groove to a full song, add these layers. Okay, so it's giving me unsolicited advice. Disco strings, high pad stabs. That's kind of what it thinks the guitar is. The current arrangement is very plucky. Short sounds, you need sustain to glue it together. That is very true. That's what I was trying to do with the keyboard. It definitely could use some more sustain. Everything else, aside from the keyboard, is very plucky. Play high inverted chords, holding whole notes. So here we go. MIDI file generated, download. It's in my downloads folder, and we're going to go into the Pro Tools session. Go ahead and delete that and drag in the MIDI file that Gemini has provided for us. I'm kind of nervous. Okay, here it is. Downloaded straight from the app, putting it right in. Oh, it's okay. It looks like it's given us oh. Well, that was nice of it to do. It gave me the disco strings too, the unsolicited disco strings. So we're not gonna use those right now, but that's cool. You can add in the system prompt not to add extra MIDI unless it was explicitly requested, but that's all right. So we're gonna drag this in. This is only 4 bars, so 1/4 of the total section. And technically a hook could be just that 4-bar part. I was kind of hoping it would do at least 8 bars, but my fault for not prompting it more specifically. Just trying to get a feel for how musically intuitive it is without being told. So let's just see what we got here. First, I'll solo it, play it by itself. Please be good, please be good. Okay, so as I was a little worried about by its description, it is a little busy. Yeah, that's gonna be tough to put lyrics to. Let's hear it with the instrumental all together. It sounds like a cool melody, but I don't know. We might want to just do another generation in the balanced version. Put it up to Unity. All right. Okay, so, I mean, it works. It's in the right key, and it follows the chord progression. But yeah, I'm not gonna try and put lyrics to this and then go and record it. I'd rather get one that's a little more tight, so I'm gonna just go ahead and delete that. We'll put it on balanced. We'll ask it for at least 8 bars this time, so that it gives us a little more space for lyrics, but let's go ahead and do that. So putting it down to balance. Now we can go right in, ask a follow-up. All right, so I wrote, give me another variation on the vocal hook melody, make sure it's not too busy, and give 8 bars. Let's see what it does this time. All right, here we go. Variation, the floater. Since the rhythm guitar and drums are quite active in this new disco style, this melody takes the less is more approach. It floats over the groove rather than fighting it. 8-bar AA structure, simple syncopated motif, focusing on the color notes, like the major 7th, nice. Beats the motif, but jumps up in energy in the final 2 bars for stronger resolution. It avoids the 1 downbeat. Most phrases start on the and of beat 1 or beat 2, leaving room for the kick drum and guitar strum to hit first. So it is fully hallucinating a guitar. Instead of going down, we jump up to a high B4 to create a peak moment. Production and arrangement tips for this melody. Because this melody is less busy, it needs to sound thick. Okay, this is good unsolicited advice. Record a double of the lead vocal and pan it slightly. I've already done that. My vocal setup is already ready to go. I might want to mix it differently, but basically I've already done this. Add reverb with a long pre-delay, so vocal to sit up front. Spaces in beats 3 and 4 of the even numbered bars are perfect for quiet vocal ad-libs. Yeah, or a guitar fill. Great little extra tidbits there. Here we go. All right, so this is the new one here. There we go, 8 bars, much less busy. Let's solo it first. Okay, let's hear it with the instrumental. I kind of like some of the things about it. The timing is a little weird. Let's see what it actually did here. So yeah, it's a bit syncopated, but you know, it's on the grid, obviously. I do like to point out it does a nice, not that it matters here because we're not actually using the MIDI to make the sound. I'm gonna record my voice, but it does give velocity variation for a little humanization when you're doing instruments. I'm gonna ask it for one more to follow up after these 8 bars to just fill out the whole section, because this is the build up here and going into the more open ride part. I want to fill that out, so I'll ask it for the next 8 bars and then we'll ask it for lyrics. We'll see how this comes out. I don't know what's gonna happen. So I said, now give me a follow-up 8 bars to complete the 16-bar chorus. I'm just calling it a chorus in this instance so that it knows it's filling out a particular section. All right, here we go. Second half of the chorus. The resolution. While the first 8 bars were floating and spacious, the second brings the energy home. We don't need to read all that again. Let's go ahead and download straight in and see what it sounds like all together. All right, let's hear it. I'm not mad about that. Okay, so this is doable. Obviously, it sounds weird right now, in particular because we're using a synthesized vocal male choir. When I learn it with my voice and then record it, I probably won't be as robotically locked into the rhythm of it, the durations, the onsets. I'll keep it relatively the same, but however I feel it sounds more natural to sing, but I will absolutely keep the exact pitch melody arrangement, as that's really what we're testing for here. Now, for the bonus points, I need some lyrics to sing this. I don't just want to do ooh, ah, ooh. I haven't prompted it in this app to just ask for lyrics. Definitely a new thing for me that I have not tested. Obviously, it's going to give us lyrics, but the real test is, are the syllables and the phrasing going to actually correspond to the melody and the rhythm? It gets all of the context of the chat sent every time, so it should be able to refer back to the melody that it gave me and then decide the lyrics from there. We'll see. If it fails completely at the lyrics, yeah, I'll figure it out. Anyway, one thing is I should probably give it a theme. Actually, no, let's just see what it decides. Maybe it'll infer from the new disco style and everything, and the melody that it gave, it'll get the words right somehow. Let's find out. All right, I said, now I would like lyrics to go along with this chorus. Make sure the phrasing follows the flow of the melody with the right amount of syllables corresponding to the notes. I don't know how it's going to interpret that. I have really low confidence level that this is going to be good, but we'll find out. Okay, here we go. Here are the lyrics tailored to the melody we constructed. Theme, a classic new disco funk theme, connection on the dance floor, the energy of the night and letting go. So that's what I'm saying. It gets the feel of it. It is inspired on a theme. I'm glad I didn't give it a theme. Prosody check. The vowels are chosen specifically for the tenor range. Oh, bar 7. Show ends up on an O vowel, which is easy to control in the upper register. Passaggio. Alive hits the highest note on an I vowel, which is very resonant and powerful for belting. The lyrics, 16-bar chorus. Part 1, the floater. E minor, bar 1, so close, you know. We get the motion. Okay, so it's giving me context clues for how to pronounce it. It looks like it's following it. Bar 4, yeah, ad-lib. Okay. Bar 5, right now, somehow, you steal the show. Instrumental breath. Bar 8, part 2, the resolution. Step into the light. Burnin', up the night. Make me feel alive. Baby, don't let go. Just come with me and set it free. We can lose control. It's got the rhyme scheme nice. Long sustain on the troll fading out. Rhythmic phrasing guide. Oh my god. To make this sound professional, you must phrase the lyrics exactly against the beat. It's giving such specific guidance on how to sing this. This is really impressive. If it actually sounds good, this is a revelation. The semantics and the instruction of it all sound very promising, but we'll see how it is in practice. Make me feel alive, drive this hard. The word alive lands on the heavy beat of the C major 7 chord. In the final bar, slide the note down from A3 to G3 as you finish the word. I've updated the MIDI file to include the full 16-bar sequence, combining the previous 2 steps. Oh, so you can drop the whole chorus in at once. Well, hell yeah. Let's drop it in. Go ahead and duplicate this to see if it got it the same. Maybe it altered it a little to go along with the lyrics it gave. Let's see, here it is, 16 bars. Yeah, no, that's it. That's exactly the same. Wait, no, there's something altered it a little bit. It doesn't have that climb down, but the rest is the same. That's the only difference. All right, well, that makes sense. A little breather in between the 2 halves. All right, so let's hear it one more time with this iteration. Actually, let me actually look. I'll press play and then I'll go right to the lyrics to try and follow along. Let me make sure that I'm ready to go through there. I gotta learn this, so I won't do all the learning and the recording process within the video, but for now, let's try this here. You know, we got the motion right now. Somehow you steal. Okay, you steal the show. Step into the light, burning up the night. Make me feel alive. Well, baby, don't let go. Just come with me and set it free. We can lose control. So, okay, I'm gonna go try to figure this out, and we'll do a little clock wipe, and we'll come back with my recording of me singing the lyrics against the melody that it provided, and I'll try to make it as close to how Gemini dictated it as possible, and we'll get the final result. Alright, so I have done the best I could in the time I had. Couple things to note before I play it. When it's describing the melody in terms of the pitch numbers, the actual MIDI that it gave me is a whole octave down. So it's saying A4, D4, and then the B4 belt out. It's actually all down an octave to the threes, which makes it a lot easier for me to sing. I didn't have to do any falsetto. So that is weird. That's another demerit. And also, it's just, you probably noticed when I was playing it before and trying to line up the lyrics, a lot of it actually is not quite, as I said, these are bonus points. The lyrics, I didn't expect it to get it actually into a good pocket rhythm, but there are some parts that are decent. But yeah, a lot of these lyrics, actually, I have them, I got them here so that we can go along while I play it. So I've muted my original vocals there, and these are the new ones. I did the same thing. The main, a little whisper layer, which didn't work as well in this context because it's just a way different style. And then the right and left panned lower layers. A lot of it I really don't like. I just want to emphasize that before I play it. There are some parts that are actually cool, but just from the start, here we go. So that's that. I can't say this has been a success, but it's an interesting experiment. We've definitely reached the limits as far as melody generate, at least the lyrical part. And again, honestly, as I said, the goal is not to be able to just replicate exactly what it's written for me. I'm not trying to ghostwrite my songs with AI in the future, but for the experiment purpose, I'm just trying to do exactly what it said, which wasn't great. So, ideally you get the seed of the melody that it gives you, and you're like, oh, if you're in a little writer's block, you get a new inspiration for a melody, and then you can make it into your own. That's the ultimate goal here. But for the purpose of this video, I'm trying to do exactly what it told me to. So the first part is not great, and now there is a second part. The part that I actually like is this part here. The ending's not as great too. Those 4 bars I think are the best and actually usable. It really is a disco funk kind of melody line. At least that's what it feels like. The other parts, not so great. And yeah, real quick before we close it out, I want to play let me play. This is gonna sound rough. I'm gonna unmute the vocal synth of the actual MIDI that it gave so you can see how the lyrics don't quite match up to the notes. So here we go. Yeah, so I followed the exact pitch intervals, all of that. Those are all identical. It's just a matter of adding extra syllables and changing the rhythm a little bit of it. So even the part that I like the most, step into the light, burning up the night, make me feel like baby don't let go, I extended the duration of some of the notes to kind of make it fit. But that, when I made it fit like that, that's exactly the perfect example of what I'm saying is the use of this, is you can get something like that part and be like, oh yeah, I can work with that. And that's what I did for this part of the track. I felt where it was going and it made sense and it sounded good the way I did it in terms of the pattern and everything based from the Gemini seed. The rest of it, I would have changed a lot more, but as I said, for the sake of this experiment, that is what it is. So we learned that Gemini is decent at getting melodies in the context. Still some improvements could be made. Again, I could prompt it better. I could give it even more context. I could have lowered the temperature even more. And I said earlier I was going to try the unusual, but in fact, I might as well just real quick try an unusual melody just to be thorough. So I just said, give me one more variation on the chorus melody in the unusual temperature. We'll just listen to it through the vocal synth and see how unusual it is. But yeah, the vocal part almost completely failed. Some of it was, and again, as I said, that I did not expect that to work, but it was basically about as good as I expected it to be, which is not great. All right, here we go. Here's the third variation, the percussive pulse. Unlike the previous floating version, this melody is staccato, rhythmic, and punchy. All right, I'm not going to read all this for the sake of time. Let's just see. I'm assuming it's going to be very busy and all out there. Move that around, and here we go. Oh, and it just gave me oh my God. It just gave me 4 bars there. Or no, give me 6 bars? That's okay. Let's hear what the unusual is. Yeah. Yeah, so as I expected, it gets a little unhinged. All right, we tested it. I can say I did it. So, in conclusion, there's a lot of room for improvement. As time goes on, Gemini will just get better and better at these things. Presumably, someone will properly train and fine-tune a specific musically trained large language model that could do these kinds of things. Obviously, you got Suno in the audio generation. I'm specifically referring to taking in audio input and then giving language back, descriptions, and then MIDI, and then melodies through the language. In the future, I fully expect an in-DAW plugin of a LLM. You can tell it what to do or ask it for MIDI, ask it for tweaks in the mix, and it'll just do it for you. In the meantime, we'll just keep experimenting with what we got. If you are interested in helping me design tests or collaborate on something in this realm, especially if you're a producer, an audio engineer, or you have some experience at least, or developer coding experience, I would love to have a second mind or 2 or 3 to bounce ideas off. So please let me know. Join the Discord link in the description. You can email me, FERM@realferm.com, and yeah, we'll see what this ends up becoming. But for now, it's a fun little tool. Let me know how you've been enjoying it in the comments, especially if you actually have installed and run this particular app on your own, or if you vibe coded your own version of it. I fully expect some AI company, probably Suno, will eventually make all of what I'm doing here obsolete, but in the meantime, it's a fun time. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sticking around to the end, especially. Hit the buttons, the like, the hype, the subscribe. I'll figure out what to do next, and peace and love. Have a good one.